Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. I hope y'all can see me and hear me, unlike the last time. Because that was a bit much. Hey, Holman's Homestead. Hope you guys are doing well. Thank you, beautiful Lisa Colovi. Yeah, that was so bizarre that time that you guys couldn't see or hear me. I just want to tell the three of you that are here, I absolutely love you. Every week, you're all here. Mwah! Sending you love. Broke cowgirl doesn't what? See me or hear me? If you can see me and hear me, put in a 1. If you can't, put in a 0. Love you guys too, Holman's Homestead. You guys rock. I have been catching up on videos. Okay, Gwen's back in the game. Because, Gwen looks forward to this every week. Thanks, guys. You guys rock. Sorry, I'm still hacking up a lung from the garbage. You guys rock. So good to know, at least it's working. I'm coming to you from the new studio, aka where I've been the past several months. Used to do my lives out in the main entry room where the seeds were and all that, and the freeze dryer. And poor Ryan gets tired of wearing his headphones. So we came to an agreement. And now that it's painted, it looks lovely compared to the yuckiness it used to be, that ugly beige. Now I wish Lisa Colovi was here visiting to see. Thank you. I love the way this room turned out. And what's even really cool about the 2 rooms that I painted, they're both spring clean now. Don't have to worry about that. Because everything got wiped down before it got put back. Everything's neat. I have a desk I can function on. I love the gray. I'll turn the light on so you can see the colors. So, don't mind my pajamas on the chair. You busted me. Yeah, so it's gray, and then those curtains were a yard sale find. That's why I painted the room gray, because I didn't want blue. And then I got all my shelving and stuff, and the curtains kind of match the carpet, which is pretty cool. So I like it. Easy peasy remodel. Next time I come, I can see it. But the way you two work, I may not recognize the house at all. I know, Lisa, by the time you come back, I might have a new kitchen for the first time in my young, beautiful life. Can I say? Rochelle, the minute I said it, I started giggling to myself because, yes, the curtains match the carpet. Good to know. I love you. Hey, the Cow Emporium. And hello, Rochelle. Hey, Tony, our cabin in the woods. So I'm real excited. I finally got a place I can function. I can control my actual light because it's up on my desk. I may take the extra paint and paint my desk. So what my desk is a estate sale find my mother had. She used to find these porcelain top tables at estate sales. And she would keep an eye on them. She would look for the ones that had barely any to no blemishes on the porcelain. And excuse me, that'll be an all-night thing, so sorry. She would keep an eye on them. If she really wanted them and it was a unique piece, she would buy it. Otherwise, she would, sit there and wait till the last day of the sale and get it for 50% off. Should bring it home and sand it. Yeah, it's a porcelain top table. Hold on, let me see if I can. Let me take a quick pic. I gotta turn the light on. Ow, I keep getting shocked. And so she had numerous porcelain top tables that she got from estate sales, and she would paint them. So this one looks like this, Gwen. And it's got a drawer in the middle. It's a light gray. So if I paint it, it would match the walls. And honestly, I don't care if it matches the walls. But I don't think I've painted this since, gosh, I think I painted it in Connecticut. That's how long I've had it. She had all kinds. She had kinds that fold, the sides would fold up. She really was good at that kind of thing. Let me just go to the chat because I see we got a bunch of people came in. Tony, our cabin in the woods, hello. Hope you and Angie are doing well. Hey, Ariella, good to see you. Hey, Blue Self-Reliance. Hey, Kevin Tuber Chat, good to see you. Thanks, Annette. Yeah, I really like this table. These are, this was our table that we ate at in, here in South Dakota when we first moved. I had 2 folding chairs and I had this because we had a lot of hand-me-downs, and this was the first time we bought furniture was in this house. So it was pretty funny. But yeah, really, really like that table. And I like that I use it as my sewing table. And the paint that I have on it is starting to peel. She's got a really old handle on it. I don't care for it, but it matches. But I may change it and modernize it just a little bit. My not Hoosier cabinet has a porcelain top like that. Cool. I have a Hoosier that my mother got. It's actually in the man room. Ryan uses it in there because we had nowhere to put it. And my mother got it from somebody. It was a relative's and she bought it. And it was 1930 something, if I remember correctly. And it has a white porcelain. So what it has is my dad refinished it. Excuse me. It's got, the nice wood and so on with the nice flip top handles like the old icebox ones. Excuse me. Like I said, this is going to be an all night thing. And so down below where the porcelain is, you can actually pull the porcelain out. So what my mother used to do was in the bread box in the middle, she had her sewing machine. And then she would lift the door up and pull the sewing machine out, which was pretty cool. So really, really happy with it. We did talk about getting rid of it, just to give Ryan some room in there. Cause like I have the craft room, he's got the man room, which are the extra bedrooms. And it's kind of like, do we really need that anymore? And he's like, it's full. I'm not moving it and I'm not emptying it. And I said, okay. So that's where we're at. But other than that, all is well. Finally getting over this croupy nonsense. I feel like I sound more like myself, and I tend to cough more in the morning and more at night, and chores are brutal. Other than that, I do great during the day. But chores at night, just breathing in the cold air just tends to get me going. Oh, wow. I bet, Gwen. Wow. So anywho, thanks guys for coming. So let's talk about seeds. Seed starting. What, how, and when, right? So I think the what, the how, and the when varies by zone, varies by person, and that kind of thing. Diesel's barking because he hears me talking and he's mad because he thinks I'm talking to somebody. So I hope he's not too annoying. The viruses this year have been utterly vile. It's taken this long for me to recover from the one I got last year. Oh, I know you guys had a bad one. Congratulations, Rochelle. And yes, Lisa, thank you. Don't forget the thumbs up. So yeah, so I mean, if somebody who has never gardened before is watching this replay and is like, what do I do for the first time? What would you recommend? What would you recommend? I know for me, break the rules and just do it. That's me. After sanding and sanding, that stuff would get hot, bubble up like it was frying, then get hard again. Oh, geez. Rochelle had to wait till they got soil in. Diesel can never be annoying to me. Oh, Lisa, he loves you. Yeah, it depends on the type of seeds, your setup, and your climate. Yep, agreed. So we're not doing the tomatoes craziness this year. And instead, like I've talked about before, is, we want to switch up the soil, which is something we really haven't done in 5 years, and we feel like it's really important to do that. I think that's why our potato harvest wasn't great. Now, obviously, we had something eating them, that's different, but we know that, like, if you grow potatoes in the same place every year, you can get scab and so on. So this year is all about switching things up. Right now my schedule's up in the air. I don't know if I'm going to be working somewhere seasonally or not. So I'm trying to figure things out. Right now I'm in the big rush to get things done just in case they call me for March or April. But let's see here. Yeah, you've really had a lot of heat, Ariella. I'm sorry. Johnny Seeds has a great seed starting calculator. You enter in your last frost date and it has a great list. I'm glad you said that because I literally just looked and that was what came up, Rochelle. So I think we're going to use that as an example. Johnny's Seeds calculator. I'm going to see if I can. Okay, let's see. Oh, stop with the pop-ups. Okay, and we'll go over that. And we will definitely go over that. Thank you, Rochelle, for that. Here, the gateway plants tend to be tomatoes and cucumbers. Yep, a lot of people do those. The greenhouse in our area said it's way too early to start here, but I like to break the rules. Yeah, I like to break the rules too. I like to break the rules on seeds, especially. She said, no, I don't, except for seeds. Yeah, I mean, the greenhouse here was like, they start their seeds later than I start mine, my tomatoes, but the benefit they have is they pay for propane. So they have heated spring greenhouse and they have a heated fall. So they were able to go to, I think, November 1st with their U-pick tomatoes. And I'm like, that's great. I don't have a propane heater. So Holman's Homestead said, don't start off too big so you don't get burned out. No kidding. No kidding. Gwen said, start small, learn times in your area when you start seeds, when to plant out, learn how to harden off plants. Mm-hmm. Rochelle said, when I'm bored, I tell the gardening groups I'm starting my seeds so they can freak out. I tell them, but I don't do it to intentionally freak them out, but so true. We're going to a canning group and tell them you're water bath canning chicken. That'll do it too. Some of the tomatoes are already coming up that we planted Monday. That's great, Gwen. Lucky to have a natural gas heater in the greenhouse. It's bigger this year, 12 by 6. I'm stoked. Good for you. Yeah, I tried a heater once in mine and I didn't like the look of the extension cord. So I was very thankful we didn't burn the greenhouse down. But the extension cord was extremely black, so I will not be doing that again. It must have run instead of shutting off with the thermostat, so we did it, but I'm not doing it. But I think I really want like 2 more months before I have to start seeds. It's where I'm at right now. But I really need to get going and get things going. I think for me, the best advice I could tell somebody is one of the things that I did early on when we started having trouble, challenges growing here was to Google what's the best variety of tomato for zone whatever, what's the best time to start in my zone. If there's a gardening group, I know that the gardening group would think I'm insane personally, and they would be right. I mean, let's face it. I mean, because I started tomatoes in February last year and everybody thought I was crazy. And yet all the people who got tomatoes from me were like, holy cow, they did well. So you can say I'm crazy, because I am, but it's worth it. Oh, I saw something. Hang on. It is a big commitment to baby them. I'm just not. This winter seems to have gone by extra quick, and I think it's because we had a lot of indoor projects to do, like the rooms and stuff like that, and some other things. So I'm kind of enjoying the downtime, and it really wasn't frigid cold this winter. I mean, we had some bouts of it, but nothing bad at all. I have volunteer potatoes up too, ones I missed when I dug taters last year. Awesome, Gwen. Blue says we have a paraffin greenhouse heater if we wanted to use it, but not a lot of point when the wind tends to take out the panels every week. So we just stick them in and survival of the fittest. Yep. My sister-in-law plants everything 3 weeks later than we do, and her stuff is ready at the same time. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I don't plant everything super early, just peppers and tomatoes. And I did some herbs, but I don't know, was not impressed with some of the herbs. Like parsley should do a lot better than it does here. I think it needs the greenhouse, in my opinion. And then I don't know, I think a lot of the seeds, aside from peppers, that we want to do, which I could buy starts and not even start them. But I do want to try some peppers. I also like to do calendula, get it started early. Parsley likes cold. Mine overwinters most years outside. That's wild. Mine comes up with like 4 or 5 little, it kind of looks at you like this. That's it. Never gets bushy. Were the herbs in your tower? No, Annette, they were. I started them indoors. A lot of them were in containers out in the front, full sun, and except for the basil. The basil was in with the tomatoes. That did amazing. Absolutely amazing. I had the lettuce in my towers. Rochelle said she started dwarf tomatoes. Gwen said taters go in tomorrow, hopefully. Rochelle says, I don't mind the downtime either. Not sure I like gardening year round. Yeah, I don't either. I've enjoyed my break in sewing and traveling. Good for you. Curly British parsley overwinters even in the snow. It's perennial. It may work better for you. Okay. Good to know. Wow, that's really cool. Yeah, I had curly parsley. It was weird. I'm almost scared to plant basil. Yeah, my basil were actually the largest they've ever been. I don't know. Maybe I just suck at herbs. I don't know. I'm not too worried. I had plenty of basil to do stuff with. But I'm trying to think. So like we want to grow like acorn, stuff like the bush acorn squash and things like that. So a lot of the stuff we're going to start, I'm probably going to start, I don't know, 8 to 10 weeks out, just so that it's ready to go. Especially like the cabbage and that I'll probably start earlier because that's what I did last year. I did the seed snails. I'm trying to find stuff to be able to do the seed snails without buying it. But I really like the seed snail method. Took up a lot less room. And quite honestly, now that we don't have that, we put that countertop in, we don't have our regular table anymore. So I have a shelving unit and with lights on it and stuff. He's still barking in there. It's ridiculous. Hey, Growing with Hudson, good to see you there, my friend. Squash, I usually do 3 to 4 weeks out, and then they're always too small. Yeah, I usually do them 8 to 10 weeks out for them. But we're going to be doing some butternut and some bush acorn squash, and stuff like that. Like I'm not going to do onions this year. So we'll see how that goes. I'm sorry he's barking. I've given up a long time ago. Hey, I hear the CEO is trying to talk to his staff. Yeah, everything. No kidding, Spart man. Hey, about 6 Acres Homestead. Happy Friday. So yeah, so we're just talking about when to plant stuff. You can't really hear him. It's faint. Thank you. I've got a door between us, a TV. Oh, Dex hasn't noticed? We're good. We're good. And yes, I'm drinking my red dye. I know. But I needed something to drink. So yeah. So, when to start seeds. I think we kind of talked about that, and it was more about when are you going to start seeds for your zone. I think a lot of people, it's 6 to 8 weeks out from their last frost. So that's always a good rule of thumb. And then obviously trying to expand upon that and make things expand upon that because you're trying to figure out what works for you. So like I could totally do I don't know. Tomatoes and peppers, we always have to look at our last frost date. And mind you, our last frost date is, like what is it, mid-June or like the first week in June or something like that. And according to the old zone, because I refuse to acknowledge I'm part of the new zone. Um, and last year we had a late frost like on the 18th of June and everything had to be covered up. We could have lost stuff. Yeah, zone is just nonsense. But I think zone is helpful to a point for folks who are just starting out. And if they look up what is best for their zone, they can get some really good tips. It's just not holding to it like it's concrete. You know what I mean? It's a starting point and then figuring it out from there. Hey Rick, good to see you. Welcome to my Cape Cod life. Yeah, I know, Blue. I'm just teasing about it. It's my Achilles heel. I like it. Because I am not a fan of drinking water when it's cold out. Zone is only relevant to perennials, nothing to do with annuals. Yeah. I look at frost date. What I do find helpful with zone though is I find it a good way to categorize stuff. So like for example, because of the frosts we have in our zone, our garlic gets put in the ground deeper than folks who would plant hardneck garlic in another zone. You know what I mean? So, they moved us from 4B to 5A, which is crap. We are not 5A. And we're definitely a microclimate, but everywhere in our town and our county is a microclimate. Like everybody is different depending on if you're the mountains or the plains, and that kind of thing. You know what I mean? But if I look at my zone and I look at the last frost date for my zone, they're telling me in May. And it's like, that's not happening. We're still getting frost. And that's across town here, not just us. Hey, living a rogue life. Good to see you, Carla. Holman's Homestead said exactly as we've talked before. I can go a half mile from us and no frost. Exactly. Exactly. And you're mountains like we are. About 6 acres says our area is very tricky because we have to plant around the crazy heat. We started tomatoes at the turn of the year and plant in March. We just have to be prepared to cover if we get a freaky frost. Absolutely. Absolutely. Gwen is in East Texas. She's got hers started. Pam said zone, I'm sorry, blue. I can't say Pam. I don't know why I said that. I think I saw somebody said, hey, Pam. Blue, baby. Zones don't work over here because the space is too small and local microclimates too diverse. So we go by frost dates and knowledge of the old guys at the allotments because they know. Amen. The old guys know. That's the thing. Find yourself an old guy. My parents are in a zone 4, but their last frost date is 3 weeks before me in zone 5. Crazy. Hey, Uncle Al. Good to see you, Bullfrog 79. Microclimates. That's why keeping good records of your garden is so important. Very true. Very true. I love you, Blue. Rick said, crap, I'm an old guy. Excuse me. Well, let me tell you, what did the old timers here tell us when we first moved in? I will tell you a few of the things they told us. And that was my father-in-law moved out of Custer because, You can't grow nothing here. That was one. Another one was go to the farmer's market because you can't grow nothing here. These are old timers. They're like, don't waste your time. It's too much trouble between the frost and the hail. Don't waste your time. And here's Lisa. I'm going to grow something. The heck is wrong with me? Which I thought was really funny. I can't tell you how many people, when they retired, they moved out of here to go plant somewhere else to have a garden. Good night, Holman's Homestead. Have a blessed night and weekend. I hope mom and dad are doing well. Exactly, smart man. But yeah, I always found it humorous because to this day, so now every time I see the people who told me that, I go, guess how many pounds we grew in our garden this year because you can't grow here. Yeah, challenge accepted. Challenge accepted. And of course, they look at me and they're like, Ryan, there's something wrong with her. There's something wrong with her. She's going to try and grow here. You can't grow here. But we have a good time with it. Good night, Brampton Gardner. Thanks, Rochelle, for being here. Get off the grass. Gwen. All right, so we covered, when, right? I think we covered when. Look up seed calculators, look up resources online. There's plenty of information out there to be able to do that. Build a Martian trench, Lisa. Okay, I will look into that, Uncle Al. Thanks, Rochelle. Good night. What about what? What are we planting? Well, for us, we plant what we've learned has done really well. We don't waste our time with something 3 strikes you're out. We don't waste our time. Loofah, not wasting my time again. I'm upset about it, but loofah is just not going to happen. And I'm okay with it. I let it go. But a lot of things have done well, and we'll stick with that. And, oh, excuse me a minute. I've got to blow my nose. I apologize. I'll mute it. Much better. Thank you. It's a double hull greenhouse. I will look into that. Thank you. Actually, Tammy at Mountain Grandma sent me a whole bag full of loofah slices, which I thought was really cool. Hey, Natasha, the Budget Preppers. Good to see you, my friend. Gwen said, plant what you like to eat and what you need. Yep, exactly. Plant what you like to eat. Plant what you need. Don't waste your time with other stuff. If you are not a fan of cherry tomatoes, don't plant cherry tomatoes. If you are not a fan of tomatoes at all, don't plant them. If you don't want to have a gazillion cucumbers and can't find people to give them to like I had last year, it's like, don't plant them. Plant less. So I think that's exactly what we do. I just want to go back up. Spartman says, I want to plant something that vines along the chicken fence. One year I tried Morning Glory. It was meh. Wonder if pole beans or peas would work, or would the birds just eat them? I would try pole beans. I wonder if you could do pole beans and Morning Glories together. Like, is there a companion plant? So if one didn't make it, maybe the other one made it. Just a thought. You could probably grow loofah, Spartman. You could probably grow loofah. because you have, I think, where you are in the state, I think you would have to tell me, you're more humid than we would be, and you get some pretty decent hot temps. Or maybe I could try hops. Hops would be worth a shot. I think that that would be cool to try. Carla said this year I'm planting fewer varieties and more plants of what I eat and can. Smart. Smart. Natasha said, I just spent $100 at Rare Seeds because that's exactly what we're doing this year, planting what we eat. Yep. I spent money on seeds because the past few years I've been using up seeds that were given to me, or I got a deal on, or I won. Tons of seeds. Like I haven't really had to buy too many seeds. I've bought some here and there from like Baker Creek and stuff, but I did order from Territorial, which was new to us. I ordered from Seeds Trust, which was the high elevation seeds. And I also ordered from Baker Creek, which is Rare Seeds. And that's because I needed more varieties of my tomatoes. And every year when they come in, I label the bag with the year that I bought them in. Even though they're stamped, I put when I got them. And then I put them in my seed thing, but mainly because we're going to try some new things. Excuse me. Like this year, I will not be planting any black-eyed peas. Corn didn't make last year, so I'm planting a lot of corn. I can't wait to see your corn this year. Blue said, if you ain't going to eat it, don't grow it, don't buy it, and don't make it. Dang. She nailed it, though. She nailed it. Rick said, I'm a curious gardener, though, so I plant things sometimes because I find them interesting. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. I think that's a great thing to do. Spartman says, what would I do with the loofah? You can eat them. You can dry them out and use them to make soap or use them as natural sponges. You could give them to your chickens. Bye, Uncle Al. I hope you feel better. Hey, Lantern Creek, good to see you. Yeah, I like loofah. I wish. They just don't do well. What I find happens is I started them in late one year. I started them earlier another year, and I started them in February another year. Absolutely beautiful, absolutely viney, healthy as can be. When they go out, they look like they're in so much shock and they just stunt and they just sit there for months. They finally get up and moving and starting to grow and flower as frost season comes. I'm done. So I'm jealous. Yeah, you get the humidity. That's what I thought. Oh, y'all gonna do great with loofah down there. About 6 acres. Just plant, just look up what they need for fertilizer. It's a weird kind of plant. And then I look at it in hot zones and I'm like, I see it like thriving and I'm like, what in the heck? Gwen says, I want to plant those noodle beans you sent, but I may just do it to save more seeds because I don't need any canned green beans. Yeah, that would be really cool. I think that would be great. I wonder if you could dry them. Do you think you could dry those noodle beans? I know they're not intended for that, but I wonder if you could. Hey, Arizona Highland Homestead. Carla said, I'm going to try growing peanuts in grow bags this year. I ate a lot of peanut butter. That's awesome. Happy Heart Gardens on Instagram, which is Rebecca, does a peanut grow along. She's amazing. Check her out, Rebecca at Happy Heart Gardens. She's so positive too. Yeah, if you wanted, Smart Man, I mean, do it for you too. I mean, I that would be great. Don't get me wrong. I really appreciate you. You're a kind person. But also think about like you could feed your chickens and stuff. I mean, that's good for them too. Plus, you could have sponges. It's really, I mean, it'd be worth a shot. We got tobacco seeds at a seed swap this year. Interesting. It's a good companion plant to tomatoes, and it's a chance to try something different. We just have to figure out how to grow them. That's unique. You guys are going to grow bacca. How exciting. We have done horrible with pumpkins, so today just threw them out in the ground and covered them with rabbits' hay and poop. Fingers crossed. Good luck, little pumpkins. I'm just making sure I got to the bottom here. That would be great if you could dry them out. Yeah, pole beans just, they take so long here. I mean, gosh, even the green beans I had so many green beans that I planted. They didn't do great. Noodle beans are best stir fried. They're different than green beans. Yep. Yard long beans are more for eating fresh, pickled, or canned, not really known as a dried bean. My loofah grew and grew and grew. It was like kudzu. That's crazy. Kudzu, man. Kudzu grows like none other. They got to cut that stuff off the road in North Carolina. Sparman said, so it's loofah, hops, beans, and morning glories. There you go. Something's bound to work. Tobacco plants are better in a Three Sisters style bed because they work as a natural insecticide. They're the same family as tomatoes and can aggressively suck the nutrients from the tomatoes. Interesting. Squashes are the best thing for us to grow for the chickens and sheep. The pumpkins are a favorite of the sheep. Loofah we tried for a couple of years in a row, but had same exact experience as Lisa. Yeah. They just go into shock is what is the best way for me to say it, is like they look beautiful. They thrive. They go outside. They look the same. 4 months. They look the same. And then all of a sudden, they look beautiful and they start to thrive. And then they die in the frost. The one thing I will say is the first time we grew loofah, I got one like this. I actually got some that I could peel, but I can't get to this long and all that. I'm a pole bean eating girl. Kudzu is edible. The above ground greens and below ground roots are used as an alternative. Fascinating. Fascinating. Best pole beans I've ever grown were Vortex green beans. I planted 16 beans on a trellis and canned 48 pints of beans. Yeah, I didn't even get many bags of green beans from those plants. It's just crazy. The loofah just never flower until frost. Yep. Mine actually were before the frost, but they didn't make it much before. About 6 acres said, ooh, thanks for the tip. Blues, we just heard that they would keep hornworms away from the tomatoes. Lantern Creek said our favorite pole beans are turkey crawl and rattlesnake beans. Ooh. Yeah, I gave up on pole beans a while ago. I mean, heck, I had so many seeds. I sent a bunch to Barb. I sent a bunch to Gwen. I've sent seeds everywhere because they just. That's why I don't enter seed swaps because a lot and like people get mad at me, but I don't want more seeds that I can't use because that's just not helpful to me. You know what I mean? And I totally get that it would work for someone else, but I'd rather other people get it. So I just kind of like steer away from that stuff because it just causes me more work. Tobacco spray rather than planting them there. Honestly, I've done it and then they just destroyed the tomatoes and took over, but they are used in a 5 and 7 sisters bed well. Oh, neat. I love purple potted pole beans. I ate off those vines from June to October. Wow. That's awesome. Yeah, that's our problem is we don't put them out till June and then by October they're frosted. They just never make it. Is what we found. Yeah, it is better to grow what works. Absolutely. I agree 1,000,000%. This year we're going to experiment. We're going to try and figure some things out. So we've talked about when and what. Let's talk about how. So, what are the ways that you start your seeds? So, if somebody is watching this replay, right, because it's all about timing, it's all about what you're going to plant, it's all about what's best, but really, you don't need a ton of things. In fact, I tend to keep my tomatoes on the heated mat long after they germinate. I literally leave them on there until like May. And that's because my house is kind of cool. Now, that may not be the right thing to do, but it may not be the wrong thing to do. It just seems to have worked. So I think, everybody has a different way of doing things. Like, yeah, Lantern Creeks is in rabbit poop, right? In rabbit manure, growing the seeds, throwing pumpkins under hay and rabbit poop and seeing how it goes. I know that we are hoping to use our own compost. And we have a light, we have a shelving unit, we have a heat mat. I only have one heat mat because we always did one table. That's going to create a challenge because I'm not going to buy 3 different heat mats. But I'll somehow make it work. You know what I mean? I'll take Arizona Highland Homestead said, I'll take livestock seeds or freedom seeds. I'm good on veggie seeds, but would do a seed swap for those other 2. I don't have either one. Sorry, I wish I did. Save seeds from one plant each year, the best plant from each type that works well for your garden. That's a really good one. I am so bad at saving seeds. I got to get better at that. As soon as the seedlings poke out of the soil in my seed trays, I start watering from the bottom. Also put that light way down close if you have a light. Good information. We have them on a windowsill for the most part indoors or in the greenhouse and then let them go out or plant them when ready. Honestly, we are pretty lazy gardeners and it lives or it dies. Yep. Yep. The only thing I will say is don't use bad compost the year you buy it. Save it for the next year. It works better and has longer to ferment. That's interesting. Interesting. I'm hoping to use our own compost to start seeds. I may buy some seeds starting because we're not going to do as many. I also start using a liquid fish fertilizer mixed about quarter strength to water with. Nice. We use that Schultz fertilizer and love it. That's Ryan's all-time favorite. And last year, the tomatoes were cray-cray. Leonard Creek says, to be honest, I found it easy for us to just buy our plants at local greenhouses, just support small local businesses. I agree with that too. We do a mix. So like if I do, say, poblano peppers this year as an experiment, I will start them, but then I will see if I can find poblano, like 1 or 2 plants from a local greenhouse, and plant them as well. So I like supporting a local business. For me, though, and I'm not going against you, my friend, for me, though, I struggle with the cost of it at the size of our garden. So the seeds economically work better for us for the things we can handle growing well, if that makes sense. If it's something that we feel needs a head start and needs to be really strong and good to go, we will buy a greenhouse one, though. So, for example, zucchini and yellow squash, we can grow it. So, cucumbers, we can do it. And so I'll buy something like peppers that we struggle with here. So, but I agree. Indoors, put a fan on them as soon as you can. They'll survive the spring wind here in the mountains much better when they go outside. Yes, they will, and they'll be a lot less leggy and perfect. Most bag compost is made in 3 months in a fast way and has literally no nutrients, so buying it the year before and leaving alone makes way better. Yep. Gwen makes her own compost. Some of the varieties I want to grow, they don't have starts for. Exactly. So then you got to start your own. We don't have room for homemade compost, but we ferment kitchen scraps in a bucket and dig it in when we can. Yep, same here. I would love to build a greenhouse and grow our own, but right now it's just something we can't do. Our local greenhouse sells plants for like 75 cents a piece. Girl, you got to do you. If I could buy plants for 75 cents a piece, I wouldn't waste my time and energy growing seeds. I'll tell you that right now. I'd be the first to tell you. If I could get them for 75 cents a piece, sold. We paid, I don't even want to tell you the price we paid for starts last year. Let's just say we spent like $80 on some starts, and it wasn't a lot. Yeah, 75 cents is a no-brainer. There's no reason to even waste your time with seeds if you can get them for 75 cents. Go get all the starts, girl. Seed start soil mixes tend to often have fungus gnats. Just add boiling water to the soil before you use it, and it kills off the gnat, eggs, and larvae. Yes, I have seen that before. Welcome to my Cape Cod life, says my chickens make compost for me. Yes. That's how we amend our soil, but we're hoping to add some compost from the back. We've been turning the back pile. The only problem is we've not had any water this winter. We haven't had rain. We haven't had snow. Although right now we had about 2 inches of snow out there. And I was like, thank you, Lord, because we've not even plowed this winter. That's how dry it is here. My garlic, I'm convinced it's not going to do anything. I'm going to have to water it heavily. Exactly, Lantern Creek. For 75 cents, I would never waste my time with seeds. I would go out there and buy them. I would buy everything. That's right. Carrot starts. I'm not wasting my time with carrots anymore. They just do not do well. I was laughing at a video of a person shopping in a big box store looking for carrot starts for her garden. I don't think that exists. I love it. You guys are too funny. Carrot starts. One year we had an amazing carrot harvest. One year it was beautiful. Tricolor carrots, they were gorgeous. And Yeah. Lisa decided to ferment them all. And they all molded. And they all got thrown out. Lesson learned. Yeah, starts around here. Exactly. $4 to $5 a piece. And they're for these tiny little ones. And it's crazy. You can do them, but it's a butt ache to do carrot starts. I'm gonna sell carrot starts. You watch. You'll all be laughing at me. I hear Ryan talking to Diesel. He's got him calm. One day, Blue, you'll have chickens. One day. Good night, Arizona Highland Homestead. Thanks for coming. Sparkman wants to know, has anyone ever tried growing carrots, but not pick them and let them complete their 2-year cycle to seed? Nope. I plant carrots. They come out tiny. I thin them, all that stuff. And we get a lot of greens. The ones that I left in there at the end of the year, they're just in the soil, giving back to the soil. Yeah, I mean, like $5. And I'm telling you, when I said that I bought $80 worth and I hardly got any, seriously. That's why I do seeds. But girl, I may have to take a road trip over to you to get some seeds, to get some starts. Growing with Hudson said, I'll try the Herbal Society plant sale because herbs are hard to germinate sometimes. Great information. Toilet rolls, 1 carrot per one, and you plant the whole thing. Yeah. That's a lot. So this is my neighbor's philosophy, and I really like it. I have to share this with you. We talked about what he plants and what he doesn't plant, and this is what I love. And my Ryan has totally picked up on it. He sits there and he goes, I don't plant potatoes because they're pretty cheap. So he plants tomatoes because they're expensive and he uses them a lot. Potatoes, he doesn't. He's like, carrots, pretty cheap. I love that old guy. He's too funny. I know, Annette. But that's what he does. He's like potatoes. He's like, why bother growing them? He goes, they're cheap. Carrots, they're cheap. He goes, now the tomatoes, you want to grow them because they're expensive. So I love that philosophy. And I think Ryan has totally taken on to it. So I think we're going to give up on the potatoes for a while and the carrots. But he is a smart guy. I always say don't make gardening rocket science. Yeah, no kidding. It totally does. Like you just plant the stuff that's expensive, right? I mean, here's the thing. Last year, I had my heart set on a killer potato crop. Why? Because I wanted to have these potatoes and I wanted to make preserve them so I'd have French fries, so I could put them in the air fryer and all that stuff. You know, what ended up happening? The potato harvest didn't come through. So, you know, oh, I agree, Carla. I agree 1,000%. Like homegrown is, mwah, you know what I mean? But I can totally go to the farmer's market and buy potatoes. And they'll be amazing. But I agree, it's not going to taste like homegrown if you have to get it in the store. We just bought 12 kilograms of potatoes for $3.99. What's the point in the butt ache of potato growing? Our taters did awful last year. Yeah, I mean, we had something that was, we had mice that were eating them. And of course, it couldn't just eat one and go on to the next one. it had to make the entire potato harvest in 2 different locations. It's buffet. So it took a nibble out of this one, a nibble out of that one, a nibble out of this one, and it just did that to all of them. Malabar spinach is a winner too, grows all summer long. Yes, I have heard wonderful things about Malabar spinach. So I think we covered like what, how, and when, right? You guys think we covered it all? I mean, we'll be talking a lot about seed starting coming up and all that kind of thing. But the one thing I do want to stress is there is never, ever any shade, any judgment if you are buying starts. That's one of the things I do want to say, because I don't care how you do it. Just go out and grow your own food. Whether you're growing, you buy the start, or you put the seed in, or you save the seed, or you, I don't, whatever you do. Grow something, grow anything. We are all capable of growing something. If you can't grow a garden, if you're able to grow meat, raise meat, something, rabbits, quail, you name it. Support local farmers markets and preserve food. There's so many different ways to do this, and it's so important that we take that control for ourselves. I know for me, it's been so freeing to know how much is in our freezers that we've grown or that we've gotten locally, and we know where it came from. We're personally familiar with the ranchers who have grown it. And that's just amazing. All right, guys. I appreciate you all coming. We're a little over an hour, so I'm going to get going, give you guys a break. Hopefully soon we'll have a video coming out. Just between the sick and all that, and quite honestly, I just haven't had much going on. So a couple things I did want to mention is I'm going to be painting another barn quilt block. Super excited about that. I signed up for that on the 15th, so that's next Saturday. And then on the 22nd, I'm doing a spinning class. So what I may do is I may show, and let me know what you think. I may show a little bit about spinning, not a how-to, because I cannot teach you how to do it because I'm learning myself. Cannot. But just to show you how the process is working. It was a really cheap class, and it's in the town below me at a fiber store. So I'm super stoked. It was like a $40 class. Super stoked. And you're there all day long. Like, I got to bring a lunch. So yeah, so, let me know if you guys are interested in that stuff. I thought it would be really cool, but hopefully soon we'll get starting some seeds. I had big plans for this winter. Did not get to any growing this winter. I was supposed to do those lush-induced seeds, didn't get to it. Like, life happens. So, but thank you guys for coming. Good to see you all. Love to you all. And I hope you all stay safe, warm, and all that jazz. Thank you for your well wishes. Thank you about 6 acres and everybody. Yeah, I will show you spinning. Maybe we'll just do a, hey, this is what I'm doing, not a tutorial. Well, thank you so much, everybody. Love to you all. Have a great weekend. Take care.